Hi everybody, this is Frekhtman, a New York City personal injury trial lawyer, and today I wanted to talk about mass torts and the Zantac case. I actually am handling a bunch of Zantac cases. I'm co-counseling with a larger firm, and I got an update. There was just a court order, January 25th of this year, of 2022. There was a court order, and a lot of the cancers that were part of Zantac have been removed, meaning people that have taken Zantac and have later suffered a cancer. It used to be a lot of cancers were covered. Originally, when the mass tort first started, I think almost like every cancer, lawyers were signing up cases for almost every cancer. And now it's only 5 cancers left. And those are bladder cancer, gastric, meaning the stomach. The third one is esophageal. The fourth is liver cancer. And the fifth is pancreatic. And that is because the plaintiff's steering committee worked with experts. And those are doctors, epidemiologists. And they did a lot of epidemiological studies. And basically, they found no epidemiological support for the other cancers. They vetted their experts. And now it came down to these 5 cancers are remaining. So what happens is, like practically from our point of view, as a plaintiff, there's a downside and there's an upside. The downside is that, you may have done a lot of marketing and you may have gotten cases, like hundreds of cases, and now those cases just get dismissed and you no longer, you have to tell the client, unfortunately, your cancer doesn't qualify and you're not going to get anything. And as an attorney, you have to suffer the fact that, you spent time working on a case, litigating a case, marketing efforts to get the case, and now it's zero. But the upside is that now there are fewer claims. I believe like at one point there were like 200,000 or, a lot of claims. Now it's only about like maybe 40,000, right? A lot less people. So now each person, because if they suffered this kind of cancer that actually does qualify, each claimant that is remaining is going to receive more compensation. And that's good because ultimately we're here to help serious injury victims and their families. And we're happy to see that the people that have suffered and that do have true cases of merit are going to receive more money. But how do these mass torts work? A lot of people are curious. So basically, the way they work is first the plaintiff steering committee, talks to the experts. And now this, it's called an MDL, a multi-district litigation, because there's all the litigation gets consolidated, right? And so now the next step after this court order, the court order has said that these 5 cancers remain, all the other cancers are out. So for example, somebody who had breast cancer after Zantac, somebody who had kidney cancer after Zantac, all those cases get dismissed. And now I believe the defendants, right, the pharmaceutical companies, they have a few months, and then there are going to be Daubert hearings. Daubert is a case where they determine whether it's scientifically reliable or not, right? Whether the medicine is scientifically reliable. And they're going to have hearings about that. So the doctors, the experts are going to testify, and the judge is going to make determinations. And then, after those Daubert hearings, a few more cancers may be knocked out. Hopefully all 5 are left in. Talking to one attorney, he thinks 4 of the 5 may remain, or that's the worst that it could be, that it'll be 4 of the 5. So we'll see. And then after the Daubert hearings, there will be bellwether trials. And the way it works is because there's so many claims, right? Like we said, there was 200,000 at one point. So what's going to happen is they're going to take a few of the cases that both sides, the plaintiffs suing and the defendants, the pharmaceutical companies, they both agree that this is a representative typical case. And then they're going to do that trial. And then the results of those trials, we'll see how they go. The first one may be for many millions of dollars, but it may also be a defense verdict for 0, right? And depending on how those bellwether trials go, then either the entire litigation will settle. Like, for example, if there's one case for, 90 million or another case for 100 million, they're gonna be like, oh my God, obviously the jury has spoken. This is a serious mass tort. People have gotten hurt. And look, the jury is returning verdict after verdict. We have to settle this, and then all the cases will settle. But if it goes the other way, if you start getting defense verdict after defense verdict, or defense verdict followed by a small verdict, like we're only going to give, a few $100,000, there's no causation, or there is no another reason why it's another defense reason, that gets supported by the jury, then it'll be the opposite, right? The cases will settle for small amounts. I think that happened with some other mass torts, maybe like Xanax. I think that happened with Xanax, where they settled for very small amounts. But other cases, like with talcum powder, those have been settling for relatively large amounts. I believe there was one verdict for almost like $3 billion. So it just depends on how it goes. So basically, we'll see those trials. I believe those trials will be happening in Florida, and we'll see. Hopefully, that'll be later this year. So it's interesting. And another thing that's happening with this particular litigation is with mass torts, it's a little different from like a typical car crash or a slip and fall. A typical car crash or slip and fall, you only have one client, and then the value is for that one client. Here you have a lot of clients. It used to be like, hundreds of thousands, now it's down to still 40,000, but it's a lot of people, 40,000 people, and they've all been injured by the same thing, taking this drug. But one of the ways that they do the settlements is they put the people into different categories or brackets or buckets, whatever you want to call it. And one of the ways that they categorize the different types of people into buckets with mass torts is based on proof of use. So if you have proof of use, like a prescription from a doctor for Zantac, then that's a really good bucket. You're going to get a lot of money. But if you're in another bucket where you do not have proof of use, you might just have like a pharmacy receipt, or you might just be saying I took it, but you have no proof, then you might be put in another bucket, and then you get a little bit less. So I hope this has been helpful. This is just a little bit of an update from Zantac based on the cases I'm handling and some conversations I've had with law firms that I'm working with. It's interesting. I think the litigation, I'm going to continue to follow it. We're involved in the cases. I think it's very interesting, and I think this is an important update that everyone should know about. Okay, have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.